Hey, fellow actors, it's Michael Kostroff. Um, this week, I want to talk a little bit about the question of whether or not you should take classes with casting directors. And you know what I'm going to say. There is no one answer to this question. That's true of almost any question about our profession. And when you hear people say, "Well, it's this, it's this, it's this," I would be very skeptical of any claim to absolutes because I don't believe in them. First of all, let's be clear about what a class is. A class is someplace where you learn. If you are paying to meet a casting director, then at least be honest with yourself that that's what you're doing. It's a paid audition. I don't believe in them. I'm against them. I think they're terrible. If you are not learning anything, I think that's a bad practice. And I already know the arguments. I know that some of you disagree with me. We don't have to unpack that again. It's fine. I'm not even going to go on about it. But I think it's a misnomer to call it a class if you're going into a room, performing some material, and having a casting director say, "Great, who's next?" That's not a class. However, some casting directors are very good teachers and some are not. So the question of whether you should study with a casting director is even more complicated. First of all, there are casting directors who've been actors and understand how we do our work and understand our process. I have several friends who are casting directors who came from being performers, and they have that insight from being on that side of the equation. Also doesn't mean they're great teachers, but sometimes that very thing makes them very good teachers. And then there are casting directors who have not been on the acting side who are also great teachers because of what they've observed. Here's the concern that I have. It's just a concern. It's not a condemnation. I think casting directors who have not been on the actor side are sometimes teaching from what they see externally, which is where we get to the idea that you got to make a bold choice and do something nobody else would do. I don't think that's a good technique for actors from the acting side. I think what happens is that the actor organically and honestly did something that just happened to be different from other people. They didn't set out to be different. And so there are a lot of casting directors teaching things like do something unusual, or do something bold. And I think they're teaching from the receiving end of that equation, rather than how we do the work of getting to that choice that they loved. Again, I know I've said this 72 times already, but none of these are absolutes. They're not absolutes. You have to decide for yourself whether you're getting education from the class that you're taking. And if the teacher's a good teacher, it doesn't matter whether they're a casting director or an actor or an acting teacher or a street sweeper. It doesn't matter if you're finding good value from the class. So it really comes down to that. But I would not assume that just because somebody is in casting, they're good at teaching actors about acting. It's not always the case. I think we can all agree on that. And by the way, I've witnessed both sides of this. I've witnessed casting directors teaching actors that I'm like, this person has no business teaching actors anything. And I've witnessed casting directors teaching actors going, thank God for this person, this is gold. So it's a case by case, like so many things. And so I'm interested in your thoughts, as I always am. And so is my cat, who's coming in and making noise right now. You have thoughts too? Yeah. You're right. You're 100% right. He's always right. That's all for this week. And I look forward to your thoughts on this particular complex, nuanced subject that has no absolute answer. And that's it. I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.